Procrastination is defined from a Latin word which means of tomorrow. Procrastination kills. It's about delay, postpone, delay more, and postpone even more until we finally realize the deadlines are close. Take a look at these few words. Do they look familiar to you, especially when you have an assignment that's due next month? Things that we could have got it done within 15 minutes. We just like to drag it for hours. Especially nowadays, everything's online and no one's watching us. We are all on our own and can do whatever we want with our time. Hours may just pass in the blink of an eye, and we start to regret for not using the time wisely. For example, we use it for Netflix, Instagram, or TVs, or even worse, sometimes we don't even know what we have done during that time, and it's just gone. I believe many of you always have this question in your mind. Where did my time go? In order to get rid of this time killer, I would like to introduce you a very powerful rule that can actually change your life if you are able to stick with it all the time. It's the 5-second rule. It's a 5-second rule originally defined by Mel Robbins. I find this rule very interesting and can't wait to share it out. I believe it can change the community greatly if all of us are able to implement this in our daily life. Basically, how this works is as simple and straightforward as how it sounds like. The golden 5 seconds. Whenever we feel like we want to do something, we have to do it immediately within 5 seconds. That's the active time for us to take action before our brains kill the intention. It's a 5-second window that exists in all of us. Our brain will always try the best to find excuses to work against us. 5 seconds. That's it. That's all the time we have to succeed. Push yourself to work within that period. This 5-second rule is all about letting your mind control your body. It's about pushing yourself even when you don't want to. Whenever the instinct starts to appear in you, 5 seconds is the only time you have the control to act before your brain actually shuts it down. Who knows? Opportunities might just slip like that. For instance, in a meeting, you have an idea that might impress everyone. But if you choose to hold your opinion to yourself, you will realize that your brain will start coming up with many possible negative consequences. And at last, you don't dare to speak it out. Just like that, you lose a chance to impress people. You can try to implement this 5-second rule in the easiest, but also the hardest thing in your daily routine. Getting up from the bed. Whenever you start to gain consciousness, count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and wake up immediately. Do not glue yourself to the bed. Trust me, your mindset is always the most powerful thing. You might think that it's not possible to achieve, but go ahead and try it out. It's really much easier than you think, especially when you have a strong mindset, a clear mindset that you have to achieve that. Let me give a simple example. Let's say you have a 9 a.m. class today. I mean the real physical class, not the one that you can just join in, mute your audio, and continue sleeping. So you open your eyes slightly, take a peek at your phone, and you realize it's 8:45. That's the moment. That's the moment that you feel like you are truly, deeply motivated, and your efficiency is at its maximum. Why? Because you know you have to. You must achieve that. It's a do or die situation. Then slowly, you can try to implement this 5-second rule in more and more of your routine, and eventually you will definitely find yourself being a more disciplined, a more productive person. But please don't be like, I feel like playing game, and immediately just put aside all your work in hand and run towards your PC. That's not how it works. Use this 5-second rule as a way to increase our productivity and commitment. From this 5-second rule, there's one very important lesson that we can learn from it. Act now. Do not hesitate. Do not think about the negative consequences that might come as a result of your action. If you hesitate, you lose your chance. As I mentioned, 5 seconds is a very short period. And once that window is gone, it's never coming back. As a matter of fact, the real reason why our brains are pulling us back is not really because of laziness, but it's just how our brain trying to protect us when we start to overthink about failing or not being able to get our task done well. It's just how the brain mechanism works. We tend to make our own catastrophic predictions about things that have yet to happen and pile up all the negative self-talk. Or in the simplest ever sentence, we like to scare ourselves. And what do? We tend to lock up our own ideas instead of presenting them out. There's this human behavior called paralysis by analysis. Just because we are over-analyzing a situation or an event, we are afraid of taking the wrong action. So we choose to not take any action at all. And this is exactly how our brain kills the intention as time goes. We start to overthink when we doubt ourselves. We doubt ourselves when we are unsure or when we lack the confidence in doing something. We need to realize the fact that gaining self-confidence is a skill. It's something that you and I can train to be good in. So never let it be an excuse of not being there enough to do something. Whenever we face some unfamiliar situations, we feel uncertain, we feel uncomfortable. That's completely normal. But if you choose to withdraw just like that, then you will never learn. We humans gain confidence through repetition. The more times you do something, the more confident we are. So grab opportunities. Always be prepared to step out of your comfort zone. When do you want to take your first step? Do you want to fall now and excel in the future? Or do you want to wait until it's too late for you to do anything about it? If we don't face challenges, we don't even have a chance to overcome them. At the end of the day, how are we going to convince ourselves that we can succeed? We first have to believe in ourselves in order for others to have the belief in us. The more obstacles we overcome, the more we can be sure of our own abilities. No one will believe you until you do it and prove them wrong. 2 years ago, I was asked to organize a Christmas event for around 200 participants. I was so nervous back then and found it difficult in managing everything because I've never done that before in my life. But I kept telling myself that if you want to learn something, you have to place yourself in a position that you have no other choice but to learn. Although there were some hiccups along the way, fortunately, the event ended successfully at last. And look at me now. I'm still here. I survived. Learning never takes away anything from your life. But of course, before you take your first step, before you start taking action, you first need to identify your goal or your sense of direction. If not, then even I can't help you. There's this very well-known movie line by Chao. Sorry, allow me to speak my broken Cantonese. 做人如果冇夢想，同條鹹魚有咩分別? So what it means here is that if we do not have dreams in our life, then what's the difference between us and a salted fish? Back to the topic, it's really important to have goals in our life. But we need to know that dreams and goals, they are not exactly the same thing. Dreams without goals, they are just dreams. My dream was to become an airline pilot, and here I am now studying engineering. I'm not saying that dreams are something that you can never achieve, but you need to set a goal to hit it. Make sure you set an achievable goal so that it can drive you forward and not demotivate you instead. Dare to try, dare to take opportunities, dare to fail. If you are afraid of failure, you are not going to learn. There's this very meaningful quote by Denzel Washington. Never fall backwards, but instead fall forward so that you are able to identify what you are falling on. He also said that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. So, if you have identified a goal that you want to achieve at some point in your life, ask yourself, have you taken your first step? It can be as simple as taking the initiative to talk to a girl if you are interested in her. Who knows what's going to happen as a result of that? It's really important for us to realize that in order for us to achieve our goal and get what we want, the first step is always the most important, but ironically, it's always the hardest. Use the 5-second rule to give you a boost to take initiative and do something. Remember, 5 seconds is all you have. A small step that you take today may be the key factor leading to your future mighty achievements, just like the butterfly effect. And this is an idea worth spreading. Thank you and have a nice day.